Welcome to the Secure Cloud Executive Briefing with Peter van Egg, where you will get senior-level insights to help you accelerate and mature your cloud initiatives.
What is the state of private cloud these days? For a long time, companies have wanted to build their own private cloud for a number of reasons. Cost, isolation, security. It turns out that running private infrastructure is actually pretty hard. If you want to do the same stuff or even remotely the same stuff as Amazon, Microsoft and Google or even IBM are doing, you'll find out that it is really hard. So you could ask yourselves, will you get better isolation than these companies do? It is pretty hard. Will you get the same scalability that these hypercloud providers deliver to you? Very unlikely. Even if you have thousands of servers, Amazon has millions, right? And in terms of cost, if you do the math, you might think that buying your own servers and racking and stacking them in your data center is a bit cheaper than what the hypercloud providers charge you. But the reality is that setting that kind of infrastructure up in a way that it's really multi-tenant across your entire company, that it works, that it keeps working, that it is updated all the time, it's innovating all the time, is a ton of work. And unless you are really, really big, it's not going to be cheaper. The only examples of successful private infrastructure that I see are with telcos and certain very dedicated hosting providers where there are extreme requirements on isolation and not so much on cost. So what kind of private stuff are people doing these days? And one of the things with private infrastructure as a service is that your developers, don't really want to work on that level. What they want to work on is a different level, which is just deploying containers, which is the infrastructure, which is the application architecture that people are running these days. And that's more like platform as a service in a way. And the biggest, the biggest platform for that these days is Kubernetes. Now, if you run Kubernetes, you don't actually have to have infrastructure as a service underneath. You can just run it on bare metal. And then the whole complexity of running those underlying layers of software are just basically gone. The only thing you'll be running is Kubernetes on a bunch of servers. And apparently, the people tell me that it's a lot easier to set up. I mean, do the math. You don't have to do all that underlying stuff. And then the cost performance ratio kicks in, because then you actually can get the advantage of cheaper hardware, or at least the fact that your hardware is cheaper than what Amazon and Microsoft and Google are running. So I say private infrastructure is dead. Private platform is the way to go for the time being, because even setting up a solidly working Kubernetes cluster is not for the faint of heart.
Thank you for watching the Secure Cloud Executive Briefing with Peter van Egg. For more information, go to www.clubcloudcomputing.com.